The Truth is Funny with Colette Stefan will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network as she provides energetic shifts and consistent results in every area of life, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success. Many people who shift out of limiting beliefs roar with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. The truth is funny. Shift happens. Feel instant relief. Stay tuned for more fun and release struggle and suffering. And now, here's your host, Colette Stefan.
Good morning, everyone. So good to be on the Truth is Funny radio show once more, doing Facebook Live with the Dragons. This is Colette Marie Stefan, and I am the founder of The Truth is Funny and also the creative inspiration behind Tales from the Vector. And today we are live on Facebook. We are doing readings on the Truth is Funny radio show on Transformation Talk Radio. Tune in for the next hour and feel the instant relief as you feel use your intuition to solve life's most challenging problems. And remember, all of these challenges are just possibilities in disguise. So today we will be doing 3-card dragon readings. Consultations for people when they call in. And I see we already have someone who has called in. So I like to look after people as quickly as possible. I just wanted to talk a little teeny bit about the way the energy is right now. Many of you may be noticing that there's been quite a bit of up and down energy, more so than usual. We are in a solar eclipse as of July 2nd yesterday, and this energy is going to be very intense and strong until about the 17th or so. It'll ease off a little bit of July. But really, what this energy is about, if you think about the solar eclipse, the card that I picked for today is the solar eclipse card, which is, I'm just going to hold it up closer there. This is what we call reckless abandon. And she's also our declutter card. And if you look at in the background, there is a solar eclipse. That's when the sun is covered by the moon and we can't see this, we can't see the light. So, this card, if you notice, she's a gypsy and she's traveling light. She's got her little caravan and hardly any stuff. And the reason why we call this reckless abandon, WRCKLESS, is because this card is about discipline of the mind. And a lot of people these days are looking for freedom and they're looking for maybe a new way to do things. Lots of people changing jobs, lots of people leaving the planet, going on across the veil to the other side. We've had all sorts of interesting astrological events lately. We've got a lot going on in the world in general, like with a lot of fear out there. And so the declutter card, what I say about why we say about decluttering is if you declutter your life and your house, it declutters your mind. And if you declutter your mind, it tends to make you want to really, really get into the declutter mood and clean up your home and your environment. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to go to all these readings here. When you're what we call clutter bugs, there's all sorts of ways that people have a tendency to hold on to things that have maybe reached their expiry date. This can be relationships, it can be finances, it can be a career, whatever. And so our physical environment in the home and where we work and in our vehicle, everywhere we go, the country we're in, the city we're in, all of these are part of our physical environment. And they can really make it challenging for people to do what they really want to do if they feel held back by a cluttered environment. For children with learning disabilities, a cluttered room is also a cluttered mind. I did want to mention, I'm doing the dragon card readings here, And we just had Stella enter the room and Pearl try to, and they're fighting over getting through the door here. Stella doesn't want Pearl to come in and have any of the radio time. So I'm watching this. This is typical of the energy that's out there right now. People are like, people are looking for arguments. They're not looking for arguments, but let me put it to you this way. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. So be careful with your words right now. Be careful with the energy. People that hold on really tight quite often, like if you're people who are hoarders, quite often come from ancestors who have had experiences of having to flee from a country or going bankrupt or similar things like this. These are passed down the generation to generation, held in the DNA, held in our central cerebral spinal fluid, every memory of, and so a lot of the stuff that's going on is a recycle of history. And so we just want to strengthen everybody to recognize that we don't need to hold on so tight. We don't need to be so afraid to let go. And we don't need to become angry with people to let them go, or to be angry with people when they let us go. And this is important to acknowledge during this time. This is a beautiful, beautiful time for being able to really, really get a lot done, because there's a driving Capricorn energy there that's making everybody like, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's kind of like the energy as you work and you think you're ahead, and then something else happens, and then you work a little bit more and something really great happens, and then it goes backwards. So I want to explain that. This is like, if you've ever heard about the Fibonacci series of numbers, that is the sort of the pattern of nature. And what it teaches us is that, if we just go forward and we're always just walking forward, that's not dancing through life, that's marching through life. And so in nature, the Fibonacci series of numbers, 1 + 1 = 2, and then 2 reaches back into the past to grab 1 and becomes 3. And then 3 reaches back into the past to grab 2 and becomes 5. So this energy of going backwards and forwards and sideways, that's how you dance in life. And these patterns in nature can be seen in branches of the trees and in seashells and that. So I explain this more in my coloring book manuals, which I promised you I would share last week on this. We'll see if we can get to it, because we do have a couple of callers already. And so I thought what we'll do is, Carter will take the first caller. Oh, I just want to mention 1-800-930-2819 if you want to call in and receive a 3-card consultation. So Carter, who do we have first here?
We have Eulith from Vancouver. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Good morning, Eulith. How are you?
Hello, how are you? I'm
very good. Got out for paddleboard season. That was on July 1st on Monday. Got out for paddleboard season, and going out after I'm on Dr. Pat's radio show also at 10 o'clock today. I just wanted to mention that. And right after that, I'm going out to the lake and hopping on that board. But I can tell you right now, I can feel that was the first day of paddleboarding season, and I can feel it.
Muscles are a little sore, aren't they?
Just a little bit. But that's always a good sign that you got good exercise. So, I would like to ask you, Eulith, what is going on with you, and what would you like to resolve here?
So I know that we worked on this issue before, and I'm sort of right now I'm in a waiting stage. I'm bridging between a really strong future and I'd like to get really strong to the current where I'm at right now. Because I find that sometimes I lapse into fear of like, oh my God, I'm not going to have somewhere to live. Oh my God. And I have somewhere to live, like
Yeah.
It's
Thank
fun,
you for
and I get
expressing.
to.
Thank you for expressing
Yeah.
what so many people are feeling right now. When you have a bunch of people going to war, and you get to watch that on television, as if it, it's disturbing for people, and it's sort of the collective influence right now is in a lot of fear, and so we're just gonna
Yes,
get
and there's a lot of fighting going on around here as well.
well.
And I just don't want that to enter my home.
Exactly. So, when you think about this on a scale, I like to get a baseline from people just so that I know, we can track our progress. And so, 10 being hair on fire, press the panic button, I'm freaking out, and 0 being, hey, I've got this, I'm totally neutral. Where are you on that scale?
When I think about being asked to leave, I go up to about a 9.
Okay. And so, how long have you been living where you're living?
About 3 years.
Okay. So, just like everything else in radio time things, there's time, but there's not time. So I'm going to just ask you, can you please hold on until we come back from the break? And I'm going to work on this a little bit with you, and I'm going to pick 3 cards, tell you what I picked when we come back. This is Colette Marie Stefan, and you are listening to The Truth is Funny on Transformation Talk Radio. It is so good to be live on Facebook and share all the dragon energy with all of you today. We'll be right back after this short break. Hi, this is Colette Marie Stefan. You're listening to The Truth is Funny on Transformation Talk Radio. We're live on Facebook, sharing the information from Tales from the Vector. And here is my co-host today. She's decided to participate for some time. Oh, maybe not long. It's a cat's life. We were just talking to Judith from Vancouver, and she was expressing this fear of losing her home, not having anyone. This is really common energy right now. Judith, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, so you said that you felt like you were at about a 7. And I found it interesting. Like, I just want to check in with you. When you get in touch with the thought of your life moving forward and maybe being like different than it is now, are you still at a 7?
No, I'm not. I think I'm down to a 5 right now.
Yeah, and so the card the first card I picked for you is the Manifestor card. And this card is I put that in the creative gua in Offspring. It's in the northwest direction. And the Manifestor she's holding a ball of energy there. And that energy is she's playing with it. And so there's different ways of manifesting. And so I always tell people, if you're going to manifest something, you can do it in several ways. But manifestation out of thin air, this is her specialty. So that could be unexpected money coming in, manifesting through, it's actually not so much about money, but it's manifesting abundance through our creativity through the solar plexus. This dragon is actually one of the 7 sisters of the Pleiades in the deck, and they are the ones that are the chakra dragons. So this is the sacral chakra, and so the sacral chakra quite often is used. If we have a womb for women, we create babies, and also we create novels, we create art, we create businesses, we create cities, all sorts of things. We can create anything from this energy. So the thing about manifestation is being really clear with the universe. A lot of people say, hey, who would like to win the lottery? A lot of people say, I want to win the lottery, but they don't really know what they want to do with the money if they did. And the universe likes action. So the universe wants you to have a good idea what you're going to do, and then say this or better. And so when you get in touch with a lifestyle that you really, really like, if you had nothing stopping you in a perfect world, where would you live and what would you be doing?
I would live part-time here and part-time in Europe, probably in Portugal or somewhere around there.
Okay. That sounds like fun.
I would be an artist. I think that I would keep the banking as a part-time thing, but it wouldn't really be the highlight of what I'm doing. The bulk of it would be to gather what I'm seeing around me and to put that onto a canvas.
Okay, that's beautiful. Now, of those things, have you been to Portugal?
Yes.
Did you like Portugal?
I did.
Okay. So you have already managed to get to Portugal once. And so you know your way now, right?
I know my way.
you know how to go there. You know how you did it. Did you phone a travel agent, book your flight, all of those things, right? So we're just going to strengthen that for you, that you already know how to travel. And you already have been to where you want to go. And are you an artist now?
Yes, I am.
And is this your main living?
I'm a banker as a main living. I'm an artist as a part-time living.
Okay, so we're just going to strengthen you. Very, very similar to me. I'm an artist part of the time. And I'm an energy shifter the rest of the time. I'm the queen of shift. So the other card I chose for you is the Father Figures card. Now, the Father Figures card is, it came up with you, and I know in the past you've told us that you lived in Dubai and you were raised in Dubai, and this is it's not coming up for you, your personal father so much, but it's more coming up as male figures that are in authority. And so how do you feel about the people that are running the world right now?
Horrible.
And when you say horrible, what do you where do you feel that?
I feel that in my right above the solar plexus, like right in the center of my body. And I sort of feel a bit of despair.
That's like the solar plexus energy. That's when we're like holding on to our breath and we just don't feel like we can breathe. And so we just want to strengthen this.
Like a sense of safety.
Yes. And so when the Father Figure card is about men in general, it's about, looking for Prince Charming and turning him into a frog. So we're just going to strengthen that for everybody. Like when we think about the government, we are the government. We govern ourselves. And, we need to, however we carry ourselves on individually is important. It actually adds those thoughts out to the universe. And as the thoughts get bigger and bigger and bigger, they have more power. And so we just want to strengthen this for you and for everyone else. It came up external forces. And I call that the what the EFs. What happens. So when you're laying in bed at night and you're saying to yourself, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if I can't pay my bills? The what ifs are internal forces. It means that you're energetically, the energy is weak going from the inside out. And if it's external forces, I picture that like if you picture a roof of a triad, and I call it the triad I'm speaking of is the card innocence, but it's the body, soul, and spirit being totally even. And if there's a lot of snow, like if you think about a Canadian winter and there's a lot of snow falling, anyone can handle a flake or two. But when they mount up and they gather force, it can crush that authentic self triad and make us feel really weak. So we're going to strengthen everybody to the external forces and the internal forces. Sometimes what will happen is external forces come in and they weaken us, and then we energetically, our energy drops, and then it sort of starts making us self-doubt ourselves and second guess ourselves and go into this place of what if, and that's what's happening with you. So we're just going to strengthen this for you and for everyone else. And the other card I chose was awareness, or this is a karmic space, lack of awareness. And so a lot of people, if you notice here, this is just a beautiful card. Everybody loves this one. It's about the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind, and the conscious mind. So an example of this is, I have a client who, she's given me permission to share this story. Her friend was found with, had a heart attack, was found 25 minutes later. They estimate, and was in a coma, and they didn't see a good outcome for her at all, and they wanted to pull the plug on her. And my client and I worked on this woman, and I got a very strong, she wants to live. And so, you know, she didn't have family, so this woman was in charge of her and refused to pull the plug. And 2 weeks later, this woman woke up, and she knew the doctor's first name, and she could answer some questions. The other thing is now, you know, it's been a couple weeks later, she's sitting in a chair laughing with her friend. She still is in, you know, delicate condition. Having said that, these are the miracles that can happen. So our subconscious mind is the subconscious mind. I'm just watching the time here, because when I get working, I can sometimes go over. The subconscious mind is your thoughts and all the thoughts of your family, your upbringing, your cultural experiences, religious experiences, what your grandma said about you, your grandpa said about you, your parents, your siblings. All of this is like, by the age of 7, our subconscious mind is formed. And the thing is that most people rely on their subconscious mind, so that for most of their thoughts, like 95% of the time. And those really are other people's impressions of you when you were little. And then we have the unconscious mind, which is our spiritual journeys and our spiritual thoughts. And we have the conscious mind, which is the one that we are aware of. So the subconscious mind and unconscious mind are constantly chatting on what I call the higher self network, HSN. You're constantly chatting, subconsciously and unconsciously, regardless of whether your conscious mind is aware of it or not. And so this is important when people are in comas or are under anesthetic. It's really important to recognize that quite often there's many stories told about this where people will remember what occurred and what was said in surgery, and also, you know, what is being said around people in a coma. So I say, be very careful what you say. And so we're just going to strengthen the subconscious, unconscious mind, and the conscious mind for you. And we have to take another quick break here. I just wanted to check in with you right now, what number you're at.
My mind has gone completely mushy, so I think that's a really good sign, because I can't even think of a number.
Okay, there we go. You're neutral. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Yeah, it's good. Like the future feels really strong. So thank you for sharing all of your beautiful energy with all of us. And this is Colette Marie Stefan. You're listening to The Truth is Funny on Transformation Talk Radio. You can get in touch with me at thetruthisfunny.com and at talesfromthevector.com. I have 4 Facebook pages. It's a little bit confusing for some, I imagine, but I'm a busy person. So you can find me at The Truth is Funny with Colette. You can also find me at Tales from the Vector, Be Irresistible, and Energetic Upgrade Canada. This is Colette Marie Stefan. You're listening to The Truth is Funny on Transformation Talk Radio. We'll be right back after this short break. This is Colette Marie Stefan. You're listening to The Truth is Funny on Transformation Talk Radio, and we're live today on Facebook. We're sharing some information from my Dragon Oracle that's almost complete. I started this 12 years ago, and I'm happy to say When I first started it, there was 64 paintings to do, and I have 1.5 left. They usually take me 6 months, and the shortest one or the longest one took me 3 years. So we'll see how it goes. We have had Barb patiently waiting here in the background, and Carter, is Barb there?
Yep, Barb from Alberta. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Colette. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Well, it's my birthday today, so I thought I'd just have a card.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I'm honored that you're taking time on this very special day to connect with me.
I am.
So is there a special birthday present that you would like?
Well, I guess today I'm going to visit my mom. Since I haven't talked to you for a while, but my mom was hospitalized a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in a geriatric psychiatric ward now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of
a lot of grief.
Yeah.
And
my dad,
yeah. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, my dad, they've been married 64 years, so now he's on his own, and he's having problems breathing, and he needs his pacemaker upgraded. And my mom is confused as how she even got into the hospital or why she's there, and she wants to leave. So every time we weren't allowed to visit her for a week, so now we're just starting visitation. So I haven't seen her in 2 weeks.
Okay, so
mm-hmm.
When you get in touch with this is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it, so just get in touch with the situation. That when I test it, the actual weakness that's bothering you more than anything is your dad now. That he's
mm-hmm.
alone, and that this is how their life ended up. So
yeah, and he doesn't want it to.
Yeah, no one wants things to end this way. Okay, that's the story we tell ourselves. But if we also recognize that we're always in the right place at the right time, and that life is perfectly imperfect, then this energy, what you're talking about, is so much what is happening right now. There's just a lot happening out there. So we're gonna strengthen this for you. That first and foremost, just being centered and stable and balanced. I'm getting it's kind of like everybody in your family is kind of in a whirlwind, and it's very, very chaotic, and nobody really knows what to do. So when you get in touch with that about your dad and your mom and the way they're, because this feels like they're, how old are they?
Dad's 86 and mom just turned 85.
Yeah, see, they're going through the third Saturn return, about to.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about this, Saturn's the roto-rooter of the universe. It dredges up a lot. And, it at about 29.5 years, where you were born, 29.5 years later, you're back to where Saturn was. And then you do it again, and then you do it the third time. And there's some very beautiful energy around this. And there's also some very challenging energy around this. Because what's going on, it feels like they're going through like a cycle, and they're cleaning up everything. So many people have a tendency to get married, or they make choices about having babies, et cetera, around 28, 29. And this is really common. If I have a seminar and there's 50 people there, and they're all women, say, and I ask how many of you had babies or got married or made a big life choice decision in that direction. At 21, quite often, a third of the room will go up. And at 28, it's the rest of them. And if at not 28, it's at 35, and then at 42. And I was talking about the unconscious mind and about the spiritual experiences. So what I want to say to you, with your parents, when you get in touch with it, what number are you at?
A 7.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's dropping.
So Yeah, it's dropping because what's coming up is at this moment, at this time in their life, when I test body, soul, spirit, it's spirit that's coming up weak. These are the unconscious thoughts. And the sevens, when these sevens come up, quite often a seven is like it's an indication that there's a spiritual background to this. So if you thought about your life like here on the physical planet, and then you think about your life on the non-physical planet, and you consider that perhaps you have two bank accounts, you know, one bank account, and then the other bank account. And so, I mean, you actually have three because there's your soul also. But right now we're dealing with this physical and non-physical. So what's going on in your, we're just going to strengthen your mom, number one, to her physical environment, to the people in her physical environment, to being able to claim her space in that environment. Quite often when people are placed in places like she is, there's a lot of negative energy. So we're just going to sweep that out of the room. Get it out of there, and move it. And the mattress itself that she's sleeping on, we want to strengthen her to that. We want to strengthen her. Your mom is not very much in her body. And so when she does come in her body, she gets violent, right?
Well, they've been medicating her, so I haven't seen her. They haven't really been telling us too much. All I know is they've been sneaking the medication into her food.
Okay.
So now she's being medicated, whereas she refused to take medication before.
Yes. Okay.
When
So
she was at home.
yeah, I understand this is what's coming up for her. Lots and lots of stuff. So we're going to look at it from the perspective of if she was clearing some experiences, some unraveled karmas, like karmas that are unraveling right now, deeper levels of her and your father both working together actually to prepare each other to separate, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So in a perfect world, it would be all like in the movies.
Yeah.
And in a perfect world, when you put people on pharmaceutical medications, they would always work. And they wouldn't have any side effects. You know, karma is cause and effect, and medications don't have side effects. They have effects. So we're going to strengthen her to get the strongest effect that's possible from these medications. Quite often, as people become more advanced in age and people are concerned, are they going to break a hip? Are they going to do this? Are they going to wander off? They're not in, they kind of get back into that more of a childish state where you have to watch them. What's going on for her is she's out of her body most of the time now. And it's very jarring for her when she comes back into it.
Oh, okay.
And some people that do a lot of astral traveling will have that thing where they just feel paralyzed, and that's when you've been off on an adventure with your subconscious and unconscious mind, and your conscious mind isn't aware of it. And so in psychosomatics, I have my teacher's certificate in psychosomatic therapy. And in psychosomatic therapy, and I'm rubbing, my nose has been itchy. It's coming up like your nose is your self-identity. And it's just coming up that your mother has lost her ability to identify herself. So when you get in touch with your number now, where are you at?
I'm fairly neutral right now. It was at a 3, but it's going down.
Yeah. So what we perceive to be a good thing or a bad thing isn't necessarily a good or bad thing. And on the spiritual side, I'm getting that your mom and dad continue. How many years were they together?
64.
Can you imagine 64 years together and not kill each other?
Yeah.
So, it's good that you're laughing because
No, they still love each other, so that's good.
There's no, like, see, we can actually tune into this, and you know how in the call to dance seminars, we do the relationship circles, and we put them.
Yeah.
Do you have time to? Because we have to take a short break again, and when I come back, maybe I'll just show everybody. I'll grab that manual and just give people an idea what I'm talking about here, and we're going to work on your mom and dad, and also the family, the peripheral family. And we're also going to energetically put that out to the collective, that the calmness, the peace, being in the eye of the storm. And so if we're in a place where we really feel triggered, neutrality gets us to a place where we can remember to breathe. Take a deep breath, Barb. Looking after people in this way is a beautiful thing, actually. And it allows people to have closure with their families. So we're just going to strengthen that it's not always a bad thing, what's going on here. And like when people are separated towards the end, because everybody dies alone. And so I'm just going to come back after this quick break. I'm going to check in with you, and I'm going to talk about those relationship circles. You're listening to The Truth is Funny. We're live on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back. This is Colette Marie Stefan. You're listening to The Truth is Funny on Transformation Talk Radio. We're live today on Facebook with the Dragon cards from Tales from the Vector. And we also have Barb on the line right now. We were working on her situation with her parents. They've been married 63 years. Her mother's been hospitalized in a geriatric psychiatric ward. And her father is now home alone. So Barb, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so the card that I first picked was this card. This is my divorce card. It's about separation. And the saying on it is, most people feel that the worst thing that divorce would be from your spouse, but the worst separation is from source. And particularly when people are in their third Saturn return, and they are separated now. We're just going to strengthen them to that separation, and recognizing that as they allow themselves to let go of the physical lifestyle, the journey that they're on, as they do this, they are becoming closer and closer to source. And, a lot of my cards are from ceremony, and in ceremony, I found myself at one point totally, completely in white. And I realized I was in the core of God. And oh man, I wanted to stay there. It's really hard to leave the core of God, just so you know. And so they're preparing to make their separate journeys, because we all die alone. And that's why people can sit at the hospital. I did this with my dad. For 4 years, he was in and out of the hospital, and he didn't make there was always someone there with him, but he made his exit when there was no one there. And I asked Majaya Sati Bhagavati about this, because she helped so many people die with dignity, empowered them when the AIDS epidemic hit. And so she comforted a lot of dying people. And I asked her, do people have to get angry? Like, 'cause I noticed that people seem to have to get angry with their loved ones before they can go. And so when your mom is going into this state, it's because she's loves you so much that it's hard for her to let go of her family. It's hard for her to let go of her husband of 63 years, her love, the father of her children. And so we're just going to strengthen that, as it appears to us here on the third dimensional plane is not the way it is in the spiritual world. And so are meeting quite often. And after living together, they probably look alike. And, if they have a dog, it looks just like them. So, we're just going to strengthen this for you. And also the next one of the other cards I picked out was this one here. And this is one of the karmic this is a major accomplice. And this is scotoma. And most people, there's 4 scotomas that you can have in your personality. And so this is about not being able to see something about yourself. And so if you think about your mother right now in this weird place where she's drugged and she never has been before, and she's like, in all this stuff, like she could be having the time of her life for all you know. One time, my dad was accidentally overdosed at the hospital, and he was in ICU, and he was like, we were crying and everything, oh, he's blah, blah, blah. And when he came to, he told me he had been on this, he said, I went, because he'd been in the hospital a long time, paralyzed from head to toe. So he said, I went out and he mentioned the people he went with, and we were dancing, and he said, and I had a cold beer and it tasted so good. And he said, don't tell your mom, but I was dancing with other women. And then they decided that they were all going to go fishing. And he went in to go get his stuff. And when he came out, they had all left. And when I talked to my aunt and he had mentioned the people he was with, she said, Colette, those people have already all passed over. And he was having the time of his life. And I said to him, well, thanks for scaring all of us. We were so worried about you. And here you were out dancing and drinking beer and, fishing.
Yeah.
So we just want to strengthen that for you and your family. It's not about turning a negative into a positive. That's impossible. This isn't an ideal situation for sure. But the other card that came up, it doesn't mean that you have to judge it. It's an experience that your parents are going through, and we're going to strengthen them to this experience. I promised I would show you in the manual. This is the Layer 2 manual from my Call to Dance seminars. So proud. Completed the foundation. There's 4 parts to the foundation, 4 layers. And once you complete that, you're an official modern day dragon slayer like you are, Barb. That's why you can handle it better than a lot of other people. And so the other card I picked was this one, which is Leo. And this is about leading. This is about being a leader. So as you become calm and as you allow yourself to experience this with your parents in the way that is powerful for you, the strongest way for you, that's not necessarily going to be the same for your sisters or any, or for your, any siblings or even for your dad. Everybody's going to go through this journey in their own way. Having said that, you have the ability to get neutral here and to make relationship circles like we talked about. And so this is the relationship circle, if you can see it. This is how the manual is. When people get really, really triggered, they color. And it quiets the mind and allows us to feel better. So in the relationship circle, if you'll see, you put 2 circles together and you get the Vesica Pisces. And so that Vesica Pisces in the middle is where these 2 come together. And so we're just going to strengthen these 2 to each other so that they have strong communication with each other, and also putting circles to your mom with everybody in your family. And circles, do it one at a time so that everybody gets the strongest experience from this. How does that feel for you?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of circles in my house.
Yeah, and it's worth doing, right? So pick the weakest one first. Yeah. I mean, and don't forget the grandchildren are upset too.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not about taking a huge amount of time. We've run out of time, actually. So I can't take any more. But I'll be back at 10 o'clock on Dr. Pat show today, and we're going live on Facebook for that. So, everybody out there, thank you for your time and energy. Thank you for calling in, Barb, and expressing for everybody. Can we just get a quick number from you right now?
Oh, I'm neutral.
Good.
Like
there we go.
Going to see my mom. Like I'm calm. Like I was a little triggered before, but I understand.
So we're going to strengthen your heart to her heart. Heartfelt energy. Okay. This is Colette Marie Stefan. You've been listening to The Truth is Funny live on Facebook on Transformation Talk Radio. We'll be back next Wednesday. Bye for now.
You've been listening to The Truth is Funny with Colette Stefan. Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Stefan each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network as she provides energetic shifts and consistent results in every area of life, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. The Truth is Funny. Visit thetruthisfunny.com for more information. That's thetruthisfunny.com.